Welcome everyone to another episode of Ascension Activations. Welcome. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so incredibly much for joining us tonight. Thank you, dear star people, for joining us tonight on this beautiful channeled session. We are grateful for each and every one of you guys showing up and being here with us for part of this co-creation. Thank you. So what we do is we start with an Om. An Om opens and expands the upper chakra centers, allowing each and every one of us to connect into a thought grid. That thought grid then allows the highest potential frequency channeling to step forward for each of us here. So we're going to take a deep breath in. And one more deep breath in. Thank you. We, the star people, are ever so gently stepping forward, dear ones. We wish to thank each of you for tonight's co-creation channeled message. As each of us connect to all of you, we come together with our hearts open and expanding. For activating unity consciousness is why we come together in these channeled sessions. To bring more information for each of you, to allow different frequencies to be radiated throughout our words, to allow each of you to tune in to these frequencies, and to allow each of you an opportunity to shift, to ascend, and to activate higher levels of awareness. Different levels of awareness allow each of you to see into different world among worlds expressed. These worlds you may simply start to observe through looking at your trees on a beautiful sunny day. You may start to notice different energies coming from the leaves of the trees. As each of you start to ascend more and more, you shall start to observe. You are able to see through the simulation coatings. These simulation coatings, dear ones, allow you to see through physicality. You may see that matter, time, space is becoming more fluid. During any given moment, each and every one of you may connect. And during the process of connecting, you are able to see or sense different emotional settings resonating from any item, person, place, or thing. These emotional settings, dear ones, is a thought form. For when all thought forms become readily available for each of you, you may then start to summon different aspects of your world. For example, when the primary individual focuses on any thought, each thought may have a pattern of an emotion that is connected to that thought form. By focusing on that individual thought, you then are summoning all different emotional expressions connected to that singular pattern of thought. This is how the multiverse is accessed. For when each of you start to summon, pull, or push different thought forms into your energetic grid structures, it then allows you to control your light refractal systems in the sense of these thought forms are generating a veil or density, which then your light refractal system must observe through. The I am is one such method for summoning thought forms. For when each of you summons an energy into your field, that energy now acts like a ring. It surrounds your aura field, then allowing your energy to free flow through that veil system. The more and more you start to summon thought forms, you may cast a thought form into any item in your physical reality, or you may simply energetically send any thought form into the earth beneath your home. Allow Mother Earth to accept that thought form and to resonate a vortex energetic into the upper atmospheres, allowing your thought form to then radiate in a circular pattern surrounding your body, mind, and spirit. We wish to speak about density bubbles. For as we speak about thought forms, your emotions are also of high value. For your emotions are known to form a circular pattern of thought surrounding your body. When a high intense emotion is summoned, these emotions may then be felt by all other individuals within that field. A density bubble may be of the light or darker polarity of emotional settings. These density bubbles may embody an entire location. They may embody a singular item. Many times we use density bubbles in order to summon a light object. For example, any individual may have a necklace. The process of summoning a very high, intense emotion is what summons a density bubble. Now, with the power of your mind and your consciousness, you then are able to push or energetically cast any thought form into the item you're having. This then, dear ones, allows that density bubble to now become imbued with that item's physical matter coding grids. This allows that density bubble to become a part or imprinted into the item. Now, all of a sudden, that item is holding that density bubble. When that item interacts with any person, place, or thing, that density automatically shall have an effect on the people, places, or things around them. Thank you. Okay, hold on, let's see. Excellent. Okay, so we did have a couple questions for today. So let's hop right to. Thank you so incredibly much, Star People, for this beautiful channeled session. We are grateful for you. Thank you. So one of the questions that we had come forward was about back pulling and emotions and feelings. So back pulling really is when we're taking the consciousness and we're pulling it right into the center of the mind. It is literally right in front of the pineal gland. That is like the sweet spot where we're going to pull ourselves. If you guys have ever gotten into meditation and you've ever felt yourself coming into the body or pulling into the center of the body, that's what it feels like. However, we are able to do this while our eyes are open. It is a sense, it is a feeling. When we do this, now all of a sudden, you kind of feel like your energy body goes deep and deep and deep, and then all of a sudden it clicks into place, and you feel as if you pulled yourself back into the center of your body. One step further in there is a center soul tubule. Now, what it feels like is this. So when you are situated in your body, you can feel all the emotions. The emotions, we've been taught that when we have an emotion, it's our emotion, it's inside of our body. That's actually not really true. What it feels like is it feels like you are walking through a sea of emotions and you trigger that one emotion you're situated in, but the emotion's actually out in the space outside of your body. And we know this now because when we push outwards, we could feel the emotion is very intense. But when we pull the consciousness into the center of the body, it forms neutrality. You feel peace, even though the emotion is still there. You can still sense the emotion, you feel it, but it feels like it's outside of your body. It doesn't really feel like it's a part of you. We know that thoughts are outside of the body. Now, when we start to do this, it allows us to come to a point of neutrality for whatever the emotion is that we are experiencing. While we may not choose to spiritually bypass, we may choose to observe and to hold neutrality for the emotions and allow them to pass through us. There is always a reason that an emotion comes into our awareness. There's always a reason for it. If it's here, it's because it's giving us an opportunity to enjoy or to experience that emotion code, depending on what it is. When we experience the emotion code, holding that neutrality is what allows the emotion to release itself even faster. So once again, when we pull back, there's a control system. It is literally located right in front of the pineal gland. When we start to access that, we start to access the hormones and every single biological response that we have access into. These things usually run automatically in the background. When we access the control system, we can start to control the hormone responses in all sorts of different aspects of the body. This is a perception. It is a focus. It is an awareness. Back pulling is the first step, and then pushing into the center soul tubule and accessing the pineal gland. There's different things that we're able to do by back pulling into the body. Beautiful. Okay, so the next question that came in was removing distortions by modifying the light refractal systems. We are able to remove distortions instantaneously. That is a fact. However, what is a distortion? A distortion is a distorted pattern of light. We are all light beings. That light is your center soul tubule. It comes down. It actually is a little triangle with three different frequencies that spirals down like this, but it looks like a single cord or an ether cord or tube. But really, it's like a spring, like a spiral. It's a vortex. That contains the Kundalini channel energetic systems, the primary ones. That center soul tubule is light surrounded by darkness. Darkness is dark matter. Now, distortions is anything that is covering that tubule of light. You put a veil over it, and now all of a sudden the veil acts like a sunglass lens. It doesn't let the purest light shine outwards. Now all of a sudden it is a distorted pattern of light. That is what that is. Distortions are caused by emotion codes. So when we store or imprint emotions down to the cellular levels of the body, then that is a distorted pattern of light. Aging is a distorted pattern of light. The second we go in and we shift the energy field, the body starts to respond. I know this to be a solid fact because I've also healed from a very great event that I was a cripple for 12 years of my life. And, in 2.5 weeks, I was able to turn off the pain, which was amazing. It was an absolute gift. And now I know how it's done. You have to go inside and you have to send more energy. And when we send more energy to different aspects of the body, the pain shuts off. We can control the hormones. There's a whole lot of things that we're able to do by going within. Now, once again, we baby step that process. And what does that look like? What did it look like for me in 2019? It looked like going for walks, even though the first couple of days I literally couldn't walk very far. It looked like earth grounding. It looked like sitting down and watching the squirrels. And I know that seems really small, but at the time it was focused not on the television, not on the people, the things, nature. When we start to focus inwards, we start to focus on ourselves. Now we start to do things like, where in the body do you feel pain? Where is the distortion? What do you guys feel inside your body? What emotions have you had in your life? Even if you saw the emotion on a movie screen, it may have caused fear in the cells of your body. Even if your mind knew it was fake, it was fiction, sometimes the body stores a fear, even if you're unaware of it. So for every single emotion that we see that may be fearful, remember, fear is anything that is not love is automatically categorized as fear. We go into all those emotions, we use the word release. When we release it now, if that emotion is imprinted within the body's levels or layers, now we are commanding it to release off of us. Any attachments, which are energetic beings that are also connected to our field, using the word release for the emotion codes will also release the attachments off of us. We go in. And this like miracle happens when we do this. Because then now we feel clean energetically inside of our bodies because we've gone through all these emotion codes. We've used the word release. We are taking dominion over our energy field and over our biological forms. It is amazing. Try it. So, can we remove the distortions by modifying the light refractal system? Yes. Inside each and every chakra system is a ring, and it looks like an outer ring, a middle ring, and a center ring. When we go inside, those three rings, they resemble magnifying lenses, and each one of them is tilted at an angle. And then the other layer has another angle, the other layer has another angle. We are taking the center soul tubule and radiating it outwards. Now, if there's an imbalance in, let's say, your civilization ring, we're going to look at the outermost ring in the direct center of the chakra. That is reflecting the center soul tubule outwards. And so if you take a look at, let's say, for an example, your civilization, if there's any part of your civilization that you may not be in alignment with in your heart, then what we want to do is we want to go into the corresponding chakras. So the root chakra is the physical. The orange chakra is the friends, the relationships, the passions, so on and so forth. The throat chakra is communication in the civilization. The purple chakra would be the vision of your civilization. Where is the topic that you don't like? Where is it located? Which chakra is it located? That's the first thing, is we identify it. The next thing we do is we go right into the center of that chakra system and now follow the energy. So if that energy goes right into the civilization ring in the pineal gland, follow it. And now that you're in that ring system, and once again, you close your eyes, you feel it. You tell your consciousness, your awareness, go into that aspect of my field. Once you're in there, imagine. Is there any darkness? Where's the distortion? Where is the darkness that is distorting the pattern of light from your higher self? The second you see it, and it's okay to imagine it, grab it, pull it out, and release it. Give it to Mother Earth. She'll transmutate it back into light for you. Now you do this, and now you open your eyes from your meditation and look at your civilization. What changed? So a journal is a great way to do energy work because you can open your eyes from the meditation. You can say, oh, okay, I shifted this energy inside of my body and that changed. So now you'll have an idea. Oh, okay, well, when I touch this, then that reflection changes. Every single part of your physical reality is a reflection of your center soul tubule. All of it. Everything. If you are seeing a distortion in your physical body, where is it? Is it connected to a chakra? Is it on a meridian? Is it on a ley line? Is it your eyes? Close your eyes, feel inside of your body, and ask your body part, is there a memory or an emotion inside that is causing this distortion? The second you have the emotion and memory come up, release it. I release you. Now, send that area love and light from the source frequency or even from the sun. And when you do that, you're going to feel the light coming inside of you. Do that light for like 5 or 10 minutes. Don't just stop. And then open your eyes from the meditation and just place focus and awareness on your world. What changed? What areas of your world healed? What still needs to be healed? You can do this for people. So, for example, let's say if you had an argument with somebody, now all of a sudden you drop into meditation. This is not a form of manipulation. This is sending them love because they are connected to you, and love shall heal all things. In your meditation, send them love. Thank them for the experience in your meditation. As you come out of the meditation, just place focus and awareness on how does the relationship seem. If there was an argument, was it easy to resolve? Ask yourself these questions. Sending love and light to every single aspect of yourself is a very rapid way to heal yourself. Very, very rapid way to heal yourself. Baby step the process. Now, removing distortions. Now, once again, a distortion can be in a scar, a mole. It could be anything like a hangnail on your body. Those are all distortions. In the heavens or in 5D, your body is perfect right now. You are experiencing a physical reality because of a distortion in your light refractal systems. When you are able to go inside and clean up the distortions, more and more pure source light can then flow through your body. The more and more pure source light flows through your body, now all of a sudden you start to see beyond time and space. So we all know when we're really, really happy, time seems to fly. It works the same way like that. So when you're holding a higher frequency or you're holding more source light inside of your body, time seems to fly because you're in a higher frequency. This is also how we access the crystalline realms. There's a whole process of crystallization that happens within the body when we start to touch into 4 and 5D. There are monks on this planet right now who do this. They drop into their meditation, into their hearts. They hold unconditional love. They connect to the higher self. And all of a sudden, when the monk passes away and the body is cremated, the other monks locate ring cell stones inside of the monks. What is a ring cell stone? It is a process of your biological material crystallizing. Because you've touched into an 11th octave. The 11th octave is the higher self's octave. So if you can imagine right now, let's say you pull a frequency all the way down and you cut it in half. This is going to have the same frequency, but an octave lower than the entire thing. Your higher self is the entire thing. Our frequency is just half of it. It's an 11th octave. Now, because this is a frequency that we're talking to, we're able to close our eyes and go up and talk to the higher self. And it's a frequency. So the higher self is going to respond in either a frequency or some form of psionic communication, which is a frequency to a frequency. Now, when we drop in and we allow the higher self to fully connect, the higher self is, who are you at your highest peak, at your happiest? Who are you? That is your higher self. Now, the higher self is directly connected to the inner child. So whatever you really, really, really like to do as a child, that has something to do with the higher self, because those higher passions are usually about the same when we start talking about the higher self. When you connect the physical body, when you activate an 11th octave to any cell inside of the body naturally heals instantly. So now, in order to heal either yourself or another person, one way out of many ways to heal is to look at the person. Anyone who does like Reiki energy healings, this is great to try. Ask the person about their higher self. Who are you at your higher level? What did you like to do? What does she look like? Get that whole image inside of your head. And as you guys are doing the energy work over the person, visualize their higher self. Visualize them as their higher self. And then send that love and that light into their body. What you're actually doing is you're coaxing the 11th octave into the body. So if it's like the person's knee, what does their higher self's knee look and feel like? What are the emotion codes for the higher self? And then the second you have that frequency from the higher self, you just allow it to pass through you as the healer and send it into their knee. And now all of a sudden, the frequency in the knee raised 10 times the level because now you've just healed them with the higher self. Do that. Um, that's like amazing. That's an amazing modality. So, benefits of ether pulling. So, ether pulling is when we are walking through the world, all thoughts are outside of the body, all of them. All your emotions, too, they're outside the body. They get radiated out. We know this because if someone is highly charismatic, we could feel the emotions that they're radiating. So, emotions can exist in the space outside of the body. When we are walking along, different locations give emotion codes. Um, and then we feel it. You could walk into a room and automatically you can start to sense the different thought forms as well as the different emotions that have been present in the room before you arrived. So, like, if you've ever walked into a room where people were just arguing, you may feel like that dense air lingering in the room, even though you may not be aware that there was just an argument. That is literally because we can go and we can feel the emotions in the space outside of the body. Now, when we know this, now we start to talk about ether pulling. What is the ether? Ether is like charged particles. It also has a degree of plasma. Plasma does come from the sun. So plasma, it's in our blood and it is a primary component in the ether. All the thoughts, feelings, emotions, all these different things run through plasma, but there's other aspects of the ether that is not only plasma, the star people are saying. Plasma is very important. Now, when we talk about pulling the ether, there are different modalities that each and every one of us can do to pull ether from the star field. So your star field is, we have meridian lines and we have ley lines. And each one of these lines makes up a little vortice. Outside of your aura field, we have all these tiny little dots and they're connected to the meridians and ley lines. That's known as a star field. Each one of those vortices can be white, black, or grayscale, depending on the density and the distortions each and every one of us is holding. When we start to identify the parts of the energetic rig complex and we start to see the way it works, you may be able to pull that plasma through one of your star field vortices. And that plasma then manifests into a physical item for you. That is what ether pulling has the capability of doing as far as manifesting. When we start to pull the ether, it is very similar to pushing energy into a ball and then allowing it to manifest an item. Yes, you are capable of doing that. However, many people who do manifest instantaneously, they don't think about it. It just happens automatically. The ether pulls into the grid, it pulls into their field, and then it compresses and then it manifests into whatever item. But this is how the system works. When we have an idea that this is how the system works, now we can start to pull the ether in on demand. This ether can be sent into people to cause healings. It could be sent to manifest items. It can be pulled. And so a weaver has the ability to pull the ether into a cord or string. Now, once again, all of the extrasensory abilities, you may choose to start by imagining. But then there you come a point where you prove it to yourself that it's actually working. The second that you prove it to yourself, now you know it works. And so now you don't have to imagine anymore. You know it works. You pull a string, you pull a cord. And pulling the ether, it can look like pulling a ball of chi energy, or you could pull a string. And many times we'll pull a string from the ether and we'll pull a string from a person's heart and we'll tie them together. Whatever the string from the ether that you're pulling, you can connect it to something. So as we are pulling a string from the ether, we can say, I pull a string to a waterfall. And now I pull a string out of my heart and I connect myself to the energy of a waterfall. And now what you've actually done is you have magnetically aligned your body, mind, and spirit to the energy of a waterfall. And when you do this now, all of a sudden, this is how the ability starts. Because now you are magnetically connected to that thought form. You may see the waterfall show up in an image. You may see it in real life. You may go to the woods. You may see it somewhere. Or you may have someone give you a waterfall fountain. That's okay too. But because you just aligned yourself to it, you may start to see it mirror reflecting. Each and every one of us is connected to all things. It's beautiful. Okay. And that was the next question. How do we start to see the ether chords? Now, this is a great one. When we start to talk about the ether chords, the first step to doing it is imagining. So once again, if you imagine pulling an ether string down, even if you don't see it, if you know in your heart that it's there and you know how the system works and you just connect it, that's it. Maybe you didn't need to see it. For some people who want to see the ether chords, I would start by closing your eyes. What would an ether string look like? What does it look like to imagine an ether string? The ether string does not have to be connected to anything. It could be connected right to the source frequency net. Many times we see these things as golden threads. Sometimes they're really thin, sometimes they're really thick. It depends on how much information is in the actual cord it is connecting to. It depends on if the cord is a bond or a regular ether cord. So a bond is many different ether cords all spiral together. So sometimes what that looks like, the star people are saying, is one cord. And then because the person has gone through so many different experiences, the cord will layer itself over the top, making a bond. So instead of a regular size cord, it becomes bonded. It is larger. We are able to summon these bonds. What the star people are saying, Tarek is saying, during certain rites and rituals, they will summon an ether cord bond. So he's giving me a whole example. If someone wanted to form an ether cord bond, bonding the potential outcome together. So let's say, for an example, two people have a secret, for an example. Um, it's in both of their best alignments that the secret stays between them. They may pull an ether bond and bond between both of them so that that energy, if either one of them rats each other out, the bond is there. It's going to affect both of them. So some type of weavers, or it's kind of like an energetic casting, would take some of those types. Once again, we have to get into the whole concept of what is energetic casting, the manifestation and the true abilities each and every one of us has. But yes, you are able to draw up certain contracts and certain things in the ethers, and then all of a sudden, you know, It is like a connection that each and every person shares. And the second we start to touch into the weaver ability, there are certain strings we're able to cast at one another that you would have to know how to break those energies apart before doing. But really, we do that in like a third year energy class where we're really talking about weaving big things. Now, we've had information come forward about the weaver ability where they actually go into the external circumstances. The external circumstances are like, what planet are you currently on? Is it a full moon? That's only on this planet. Other planets don't have the moon. What energies are you receiving from the solar system? So we know that the pyramids, the ancient people, they looked up at the solar system. They knew all about the energy and the external circumstances. What energies are you putting into whatever ritual it is that you guys are doing? So what that looks like is, some people on this planet will say we use cinnamon for abundance. So it's kind of like that. What herbs, what energy specifically? Because every single herb is going to light up your nervous system net to a different degree. And when we start talking about weaving cords together, if you are blending different herbs in with the energetic cord and then you're imprinting it in a person. So, like, let's say, for an example, the person wanted to have an ability or they wanted to be able to like move forward in their life and like um harnessed their ability to energetic cast in this life, you may want to imprint in the shoulder because the shoulder has to do with, energetic casting. And like, let's say a person wanted to achieve great things in their life, you may choose the shoulder to do. And then you may take all of the energy in the external circumstances and blend them all together. When we combine them all together, we're making a solid frequency. Now, a weaver will take the ethereal cord that they pull, and because they've proven it to themselves that it works, they don't have to sit there. They know it works. It works. And now what they would do is they would take whatever herbs that they had, even if you don't have the herb, you can also pull the string for it and weave it onto the ethereal cord. And now you start doing a type of connection. And so you can imprint it right into the cells of the arm. And then all of a sudden, what is it there to do? What is the whole reason of connecting this ethereal cord? It is because the person may want the ability to, let's say, build a business. And then all of a sudden, you've taken all of these different energies, blended them all together, and cord connected this person to it. Now, how does this work? How long does this work? Well, if the person doesn't shine density on the ethereal cord, it should hold for a while, for a very long while, or until it's removed. There are certain types of locks that we are also able to cast. Once again, the locks you guys may choose. This is like the best way of doing it. Lock it until the owner of the body vessel chooses to unlock it. Because let's say they choose to erase that string later on down the line. They would want to reserve the right to do so. Energetic cords works the same exact way as having a physical item. We'll take a crystal as an example. This one is trolley light. Now, let's say I have this crystal. My energy field has already acclimated to the crystal, so I may not realize exactly what this crystal is doing for my life, for my awareness, but it's doing something. Now, all of a sudden, a year goes by. I've had this crystal, and now I'm ready to give it to somebody else. The second I give away the crystal, I love you, crystal. The second I give it away, now all of a sudden, I notice something changed in my life. And now I can start to identify, oh, the crystal was putting the word up over here. And it was changing my life over here. Now you go to the online and you see what does the actual crystal do? What's the energy? What's the meaning behind it? And now you start putting the connections. Oh, okay. So the crystal was doing this in my life, and the second the crystal was gone, now I see this is gone. That's how this works. That's how ether cords work too. You have to remember, all crystals They're doing the same exact thing. They work within the limitations of the nervous system net. The nervous system net is the same exact net as a weaver's net. The nervous system net runs just underneath your skin. Anytime you interact with any item, your nervous system net is always shifting. It's always flowing. It's modifying. So let's say you're holding a crystal. Your nervous system net is going to shift depending on the exact crystal that you are holding. When you hold a different crystal, the nervous system net is going to shift to align to the new energy. The reason why we are told put the crystal in your pocket for 3 days is so your nervous system net has 3 days to solidly hold. After you've had the crystal in your pocket for 3 days, take it out. Did you see anything change? Whatever it just held, whatever manifested in your life because of the crystal, now that you're not holding the crystal, did you see something move? Now, having this awareness of your actual life and all of your things, even if you want to take a look at the people, places, and things in your life and make a list. I tell you guys to make a list, but sometimes it's a mental list you can also make. What changed? Having the awareness, and when I work with crystals, there was a time where I didn't want to know the properties of the crystal. I wanted to hold it. I wanted to feel it. I wanted to see what changed in my life. And then I went back and then I researched what the crystal was. It made it more fun that way because then I proved it to myself what the crystal actually did for me. When we combined multiple crystals, and once again, when we're pulling ether cords, we can combine crystal cords to the actual cord that we're pulling. This is really important because the crystals are going to pull the nervous system net, whatever ethereal cord you are imprinting into the biological form is also going to have an effect on the nervous system net. There are different types of light alignments each and every one of us are able to do. Now, when we start working with the ether cords, it is okay if you don't see it at first. Try pulling an ether cord directly from the source frequency and put it into your heart. Each and every one of you guys can do this now. Imagine and visualize pulling an ether cord from the source frequency. This is the source of everything, the purest white light that you guys can imagine. Feel it, put it in your heart, thank it for healing you. Did you guys feel anything shift? Did you feel any light or brightness in the center of your chest? You guys can try it again. Put it directly in the center of your mind, of your head. As you do this, can you feel like there is a little bit light and bright right in the center of your head? And now as you pull another ether cord, put it right in the center of your belly button. How do your belly buttons feel? Now you guys just pulled one single cord. We're infinite in our nature. So now what I want you to do is pull 1,000,000 source frequency cords and just tell them, go all over my body and plug in. Bring so much unconditional love and light to my entire nervous system net and my body, allowing every aspect of myself to heal and be recharged. Now just feel. I could feel the tingles right now, just from speaking those words. You'll start to feel things. You may start to feel things shift. Anytime you guys need to recharge, pull 1,000,000 cords down from the source and tell it, plug in where it needs to plug in to heal me so I feel my highest and best. And now just focus. Just feel it. Once again, we are able to change the way our body feels. The way our body feels is an emotion code. When we start to take dominion of the emotions that we keep, we start to be able to access different worlds inside of a multiverse. All of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions is what is generating your perception into your world. When we hold more light inside of our body, the outside world changes. Beautiful. So I just want to say thank you guys so incredibly much for coming tonight. Thank you so much, dear star people, for joining us. We have started the Tree of Life organization.org. It is a online university for spiritual college. You guys, all the classes are there. It is all online for every single person to come and to learn from. So feel free to come in and take a look at our classes and see. Right now, I am working on, I believe, the 5th month of the Awakening and Alignment classes. So the classes are for free. You guys come take a look, see if you like it. This is, our way of giving back to the community and putting out spiritual information that's going to help humanity's ascension and evolution. So thank you guys so much. That is the Tree of Life organization.org. And you guys can just go and hang out. And if everyone has questions, you guys can reach me at daniellelipton.com. I do also offer private sessions. And you guys can send in your questions for the next live. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, dear star people, for this beautiful channeling tonight. We are very, very grateful for you all. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a wonderful evening. Thank you.